Ha, 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 ha.
What's up?
Well,
James.
today we are going to go to the dinosaur adventure at the Impact.
Oh wow. I didn't even hear about that one. Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah,
That's that's a lot going on downtown. Montgomery really honestly be such a small city, relatively speaking, has a lot of
relatively
things.
speaking.
Yeah, has a lot of things going on.
Well, yeah, and the White Water Park, I believe that's supposed to be opening up in July.
Hmm.
And it's when I heard we were getting a white water park, I was thinking like an amusement park, but no, it's one of the, well, I wouldn't say largest, but it's as sophisticated as any white water park, like the one they got in Columbus, Georgia.
Yeah.
And it's actually designed by an Olympian. I think they actually pulled in an Olympian to design the white water park.
Well, seeing that we're in Montgomery, Alabama, you would think in 2023, they would make it not just for whites, but it will be, for everyone. But hey,
Well, I mean, it is. It is. I
bro, that's
mean,
a joke. I
yeah,
said
I know.
Whitewater Park.
It goes right all over my head sometimes. When
That's
it's early
okay.
like this,
It's
I'm like, well,
okay.
I mean, you think they would call it red water,
What's funny
with the
is,
huge, the
yeah,
casino we got.
what's
We got the casino Indian influence
yeah,
there.
that's
You
true.
know,
That's true.
red water. You know, me. I
uh,
used to really like the brown water. The old bourbon.
bro, let me tell you what's
Uh,
so funny. Let me tell you what's so funny. You,
but since I'm yellow too, maybe it's the yellow water because of the PP.
all right. I guess
There's
we're
gonna be a
gonna just
lot
have
of
to
it.
gonna have to. I don't know. It, anyway, so let me tell you what's funny. The reason why I said that is
PP.
because you were saying like white water park. Like I realized that you had growing up, you weren't familiar with white waters. Like white
Of
waters
course not.
was a huge deal. Like so, white waters and Six Flags were like
Uh,
next to each other in Atlanta, and so growing up, that's where my family we would go to Six Flags. Now, given I want to go to White Waters, but my parents never took me. But White
right.
Waters, right there, like part of Six Flags. It was Six Flags, White Waters. So when I was listening to you, I was like, he really he's not familiar with White Waters because
Nope.
you were like, yes, like a really serious thing, like a premiere. And I'm like, yeah, so that's funny. That was funny, man. So
Well,
I
that's
had
the truth, man. I mean, me growing up, I grew up most of my life here, and then dad was in the Air Force, so I would um go with him somewhere wherever he got stationed at TDY. And it's I didn't grow up around that kind of stuff. I've gone whitewater rafting. I think there was this place called Nanahala. It was in North Carolina or South Carolina that we went on the school trip. And the only other time I've been down an actual river was the Coosa River. You know how they can go down the Coosa River.
mm-hmm.
And then went out to Columbus. I don't think I actually did any of that out there, but you know, that I don't, I'm not going to go out there and do that because knowing my luck, I'll fall off and hurt myself seriously. I mean, everybody else can. I don't know. I don't think I hope it does well for the city, but no, I mean, the dinosaur adventure is going to be great because Evie loves dinosaurs. I mean,
Oh,
she is
wow.
absolutely in love with dinosaurs.
Wow.
When we all snuggle in bed together, she'll have her little tablet. She's watching like little YouTube kids. And so she'll sit there and she'll start finding a dinosaur video. And there's one video where it starts putting the pieces of the image together. Before it's even complete, she'll know what the dinosaur is. She'll say Brachiosaurus. I'm like, that's
Oh,
not a
wow.
brachio. And then it's Brachiosaurus. I'm like,
That's
okay, it's
cool.
Brachiosaurus.
That is cool.
Triceratops, pterodactyl. She knows all of them.
That's so cool, man. What it reminds me of is, excuse me, is how amazing it is to just watch each of our interests when we're younger. You know, it's like what makes us gravitate to one thing over the other. Like you said, your daughter is how old is Evie?
She's going to be 3 in June.
Wow, so she's still two, not even three yet, and she loves dinosaurs. You know,
She loves
dinosaurs.
dinosaurs.
So, I'm just thinking, because I was just thinking, oh, you know, maybe she'll be an archaeologist or something. But that was just a thought. I mean, she could be
Yeah, or
many different
paleontologists.
things. Oh,
Yeah.
paleontologist. And I think about like even my passion for, and I'm gonna ask you what maybe yours was, but even mine was baseball. When I was 2 years old, my
Oh, I'm so glad that you mentioned that.
when I was 2 years old, I used to have my mom. She had to dress me in a baseball outfit every day of the week. So after daycare, immediately the routine was get me home, get me in my baseball outfit. Let's go to the park. Let's play baseball. This my mother did this every day. That was what we did, and my grandfather thought, you know, that was he called it a calling. My first calling was to play baseball. He thought I kind of got away from it, but I say that to say I was in a conversation with my mom the other day, and I was just talking to her about how it was kind of hard for me to watch Major League Baseball now because, you know, there's a little bit of like reluctance, like, man, you know, why didn't I stick
Regret.
with it? Yeah. And so my mother was talking to me and she was like, well, I mean, you were really good in baseball, but you know, I actually thought you were better in art and all that. And so her point was, and my wife had the same similar point. Well, yeah, my mom's point was that maybe there was a passion and an interest there, but that did not necessarily, I don't know, correlate to um something bigger. I don't know. I don't know exactly what I'm the point I'm trying to bring home, but it's just interesting, you know, why we're interested in what we are. It has some kind of tie into I think what we do in life, but not necessarily always a direct tie. Like I wasn't necessarily destined to be a baseball player. Maybe if I had pursued it, I would have for a while, but who knows? It's just
Well,
interesting.
also too, you got to also keep in mind that not saying that you don't have the talent at all because you never got to play it all the way through. But there are some people that have a genuine desire, love, and gifting for baseball. But if you take it all the way to the highest level, which is American Major League Baseball, you are the top of the cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying? And there's some people that once they hit that certain level, they realize it's like I can't go any further, you know?
Right.
And so it doesn't invalidate your path or your journey, but it just means that it has to change into a different direction. So, great players end up becoming great analysts or great coaches or great writers of the sport. And they take
Right.
their loves that they have and it still exists. They'll always, in fact, the ones that really love the game, they'll always love the game, and they'll always be able to explain the love of the game to somebody and anybody that's a novice or an amateur when it comes to it. They'll they'll feel it, they'll know it, and they'll be enraptured by it. See, a
Bro.
true love of anything, it becomes like a people become will really detect and notice the passion behind it. There's some people that like some sports analysts, their profession is a sports analyst. You know what I'm saying? So they
Right.
don't have And if they've never played baseball, but they have the understanding of baseball, you can make it really easy to analyze the game. But when you have a sports analyst that used to be a professional baseball player and they come on, you could there's just a way they enunciate, the way they talk about it, or they'll throw in a story that you've never heard before. And that love is projected out into the audience, and the audience is brought in. You know.
While you were talking, you actually helped me bring back the whole point that I was
You're
trying
welcome.
to make. So thank you for
Yellow
that.
water.
Yeah. So what my mom, I think, what my wife was getting at, because she was helping me. She was saying that it's not like I was I was having an intervention or anything. She was just talking, and she was saying, a lot of times when people are truly passionate about something, it doesn't go anywhere. Like you may be diverted, but it comes back. And she was just reminding me that even after I had gotten away from baseball, I tried to rekindle it. I was about 19 and I was interning in Ohio and I was playing for a wooden bat league, which was a league of, of course, former high school players, but you
Mm-hmm.
had some former college players, you had
Mm-hmm.
semi-pro players, you
Mm-hmm.
had players in the off season that were in college. And so it was a competitive league and I played with that and it was fine. But she was just kind of reminding me like you did try it again and it didn't stick. And she was right. Like I was not, but somewhere along the line I lost the passion and so it's interesting because you were talking about how much those players love the game and are passionate and it exudes through them and or out of them. And I guess I can honestly say, even though I loved it growing up, that went somewhere. And so it was, I guess, not as inherent, not as natural as it needed to be, or would have should have been if I was gonna go to that level. So that may have not been my thing. It may have just been something for whatever reason that, like I said, I got on this because we were talking about Evie and the dinosaurs, but for whatever reason, I was passionate about it for those years of my life, those
Right.
first 7, 8 years of my life, but that could have been from whatever influences. So
I agree. And
oh,
the interesting thing about all of this is the fact that, you know, it's interesting that you're now to a point where you're coming back to it from a different angle, from a different
mhm.
lens. I remember you were saying that you were interested in coaching the girls in softball. And I was like, I didn't even really realize that you used to like baseball. So what was your batting average?
Oh, at least somewhere between 330 and 420, 450, at
Did you
least.
did you play? You said you did play in college or you didn't play in college?
I didn't play in college. My college didn't have a baseball team.
Okay.
So
Oh, well,
yeah.
then that kind of even removes you even more farther from it too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I said, I mean, honestly, after about seventh grade, I mean, basketball really took my passion.
Yeah.
So, but up to seventh grade, I mean, I was there, and then, but
So you must have good hand-eye coordination, don't you?
oh, great. I mean, great.
So that means we could play some good golf then.
Yeah, I picked up golf a little while ago. I picked up
Yeah.
golf back in 2009 and I
Yeah.
put it right back down, but I like
Yeah.
it. I like to get out
Yeah.
there
We could do that.
on the green.
Okay.
Yeah, that
There
would
we
be
go.
nice. That
There
would
we
be
go.
good, man. But yeah, man, my hand-eye coordination was good, and I think just my IQ was so high. I mean, I could place the ball. I just understood the game very
Right.
well. And so I
Yeah.
think that's what I enjoy about coaching. I don't know if you remember, but I coached some years ago. I coached a 4 and 5 year old girls softball team back in 2011, which was,
Were we roommates back then?
no, I guess that was the year before. That was the year
Okay.
before. But that
There.
was a great challenge, and it was so rewarding. And then I coached 2 years after that. I coached for 2 seasons boys baseball, 7 and 8 year olds. So I've been out
I
of it
think
since like 2014.
and since you've coached both sides, I think you would probably value coaching softball more.
Being that I have girls, right?
Yeah,
Right, right.
but I
Yep.
just from Leo's experience telling me the difference between coaching girls and boys. The girls are more focused; they'll give more attention, and you know how boys are. You know, depending upon the age range.
Well, I don't, yeah, I guess yeah. And I'm not sure. I can't really answer that one. I know I told my wife the other day though, I do love the game. This is what's funny. You were saying how I was looking at things from a different lens. Now I'm having I guess what is it? Not a renaissance of such. Well, I could say that renaissance in the sense that
Revival,
the yeah, yeah, in the sense that the love of the game is coming back to me. Like it's never gone anywhere,
resurrection.
but apparently it's been suppressed, and like I can feel like I love the game of baseball. I can't. Here's the irony. Back when I was younger, I told you basketball had kind of taken over, and I was passionate about it. I, I do that with things. I'm passionate for years about things, and then I'm not. But like baseball, I realize I love the game. Basketball, as passionate as I was, and how and it came on and displaced baseball, all of that stuff. But really, when I look at the two, I
So
don't
if you had
just
to choose
love
one, it'd be
basketball.
baseball.
It would definitely be baseball. And that's the irony
Hmm.
because it's funny how these things work out. Because I love basketball and I pretty much remember we were talking, you and I were talking about, I think we were talking about how with baseball, really because of the hand-eye coordination, maybe we weren't, but because of the hand-eye coordination, it's so important to play every year. And after seventh grade, you know, basketball had kind of taken my focus, and so I really didn't play baseball much. I played eighth grade, but then I really didn't play until my junior year of high school. To be honest, like I came out at the tail end of the season, my sophomore
Huh.
year, so that doesn't even count. In my junior, so I'm missing 2, 3 years,
Right.
and so it's just ironic now that I'm like, wow, I love this game. And
Yeah.
softball's so close, so I love softball as well.
Yeah.
But that kind of goes now what I said earlier, and I digress, but now I'm just not even now maybe I'm like, yeah, it was, but I love to coach it too. So
Hmm.
this is and Ashley's done this for a while. So I plan on coaching
Good.
consistently. So
That's good, man. And I think I'm pretty sure I sent you that preview for that anime show, Ace of the Diamond. Didn't I send that
mhm,
to you?
I think so. Yeah, you
Yeah,
did send it to me. You
I did
did.
send that to you.
Yeah.
Now, again, I could care less about baseball, but anime, man, they come out with some stuff. Like they've got this one new anime that's going to be coming out this year. It's based off of Formula One racing. And the way they animate it and the way they build a storyline around it, I'm probably gonna check it out too. And that's what I mean. When people say, "Well, you're just watching cartoons," I'm like, "Yeah, but you got to watch these cartoons, man,
Yeah.
because the way they animate it and then the way they write the storyline, it literally brings you in. Because Ace of the Diamond is about a high school baseball player. Now in Japan, high school is only 3 years; it's not four.
Okay.
So he lives out in this remote like province area. They don't really have a good baseball team. He gets recruited into like I believe it's probably within like the bigger city like Tokyo or something like that to one of the premier top high school teams because of his
Mm-hmm.
talent as a pitcher. So it's just you watch this journey and you're rooting for him to become like the starting pitcher, but he just doesn't have what it takes. So he's the relief pitcher. He's the backup pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And you just watch the growth of this character. And then you have all these supporting characters
Right.
around him, including the senior class who go on to graduate, but they become background supporting characters. And and when you get if you get drawn in, like when I was originally watching anime, only way I'd watch it was if it was dubbed with English voices.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, a friend, she said, "Hey, you need to watch. I'm watching anime. It's on this thing called Crunchyroll." So I started watching it on Crunchyroll, and I get so tired of waiting for the dubbed version to come out. I start watching the original Japanese with subtitles, and that's really how I watch my anime now. I don't even, and I never thought I'd say that about myself. But
But you actually
have
read
you ever
and you
seen the
like
movie
it.
For Love of the Game with Kevin Costner?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's what it makes me think of about you when you said that love you're
Mm-hmm.
expressing
Mm-hmm.
is that love that he had for baseball,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was for him, it's a different direction where he loved the game so much he could not handle the direction it was going, so he retired, and his whole life was wrapped around the game that he had to choose real life. And here you are on the opposite end of it. You've lived real life, and yet
Right.
there's still a piece of you being drawn into. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this is a remake of For Love of the Game, really. If you think about it, I
Yeah. Like
people would probably, if they looked at it from that perspective, it's like, this is a remake of For Love of the Game. They start throwing popcorn at the movie screen, start throwing stuff at it. It's like, you can't do that to Kevin Costner. It's just what this isn't For Love of the Game. Yes, it is For Love of the Game. It's just a different way.
That's funny, man.
Did you
It
know they're
is.
making a remake of White Men Can't Jump? Speaking of that,
I saw that. I saw a
yeah,
preview for that. Yeah, it
yeah,
looks really good,
it
actually.
looks good, but
I
it
mean,
can't beat the original.
no, it can't be. Woody Harrelson,
Wesley
um,
Snipes,
Wesley Snipes,
Rosie Perez,
Thank you, Rosie Perez. You can't beat
yes.
that. Mm-mm.
See, now this is how deep my love for the game of basketball is. I started really loving basketball when I was 16 years old. So at that time, Dad was living down in Kissimmee, Florida, and this is when I would meet I call him my best friend, even though we don't talk nearly as much as we should. He was the best man in my wedding, Chris Beaver. But I met him because he lived in our apartment complex. So I lived on one end of the apartment complex and he lived on the other. But I could always went within walking distance of the playground's local basketball court. And that's where we met and we used
Mhm.
to play all the time. And I loved basketball so much, I would play whether he was playing or not. I remember playing when it was pouring down rain. I mean, I remember
Mhm.
playing so much that when I was a freshman at Hampton-Sydney College, I would literally go out in like 20, 30-degree weather just to shoot free throws. I remember one time when I was in high school, I would not go in until I hit 100 free throws in a row. Mom came out and said,
Mm.
"Hey, it's getting loud out there. People are trying to sleep. If you don't come inside, I'm going to lock you out of the house." I did not come inside, so she did lock me out of the house, but I did hit my 100 free throws in a row.
Really,
Yeah. I
bro?
mean, I was so passionate for the game. I would watch White Men Couldn't Jump on VHS tape. I would watch um He Got Game, any type of basketball movie, any type of basketball game. I'd had it recorded on VHS tape. And then around in the 2000 eras with my Lakers, the versions that I fell in love with, I would just record game after game after game on VHS tape and just watch it like crazy.
I can just see how
NBA
those
Live, play that on
VHS tapes
PlayStation. Oh yeah.
label the
Oh yeah.
VHS
I would write down
Lakers
what date of the
versus
game, what game it was.
bro.
You
So
know.
so I know inquiring minds want to know what happened. Why didn't you take your why didn't you have some form of a basketball career or at least tell us a little bit.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I tried out for my high school basketball team. I can't remember if I was 16 or 17. Went into practice for the first one, and this was before it was either 16 or 17 or 15 or 16. But it wasn't until I would say at least I was a freshman in Hampton City College that I at least had a little bit of skill, but I had absolutely no skill in basketball. I was scrawny, I was short, I mean, I couldn't even really I had no concept. Like that's a wrong time to fall in love with to have skills, develop the skills of basketball. Because if I had started younger, much younger, maybe I would maybe been pretty decent. But no, I didn't. I got immediately. I went out to tryouts. I didn't get called back. So, so that's when I started doing cross country and track my high school years. Okay, so you flash forward to my freshman year of college.
I'm there. Freshman year.
My freshman year of college.
I'm seeing a young James right here. I'm seeing you.
Young James. And still, I still have a strong passion for the game still, but I definitely don't have skill. But yes, I did play Division III JV basketball for Hampton-Sydney College.
Wow, historical fact, people.
Yes. Just want to add though that it was a free sign up.
Yeah.
But I did play. I did get into one game. I did get subbed into one game off the bench, ran around like a chicken with my head cut off, and they immediately pulled me out within about a minute. But I did play one game.
You played in one college game, man.
That's it. Division III.
What a great story.
JV. You get to be a part of the team as long as you sign up.
Bro, I'm loving this, man. I'm seeing motivational speaking for you right now.
I don't know what the motivation would be.
College basketball player.
I don't know what it would be. I guess if you look hard enough, you can join the team. You can participate.
Oh man.
But and again, I didn't go to Hampton-Sydney College to play basketball. It just happened to be that situation that they had that. And what I do miss about it is being a part of that team. It's a good farewell tour. Because I remember in high school, when you're in high school on a team, what do you all do together? You all travel to different things together. You band together. You're a part of something together. And so, that was the last time I was ever part of a team. When we go up into our adult years, you don't really have that as much anymore. Right. You may have that at your occasional rec league or whatever. And so I can see how in later years in life, especially if you don't get married, if you stay a single person, how that's what you miss. You miss the teammate, the environment of being together. And it makes people very vulnerable to different ideologies and influence of others, because especially if you enjoy it, if you like it, the cutting up, the laughing, and because I remember one time we were all in the cafeteria my freshman year of college, and so we would all kind of play. I didn't participate in this because I thought it was childish, but all us guys, we would sit around and we would when somebody went to go get something, we would salt their drink, right? Did people ever salt drinks back in the day? Put coarse salt.
I do remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so they were salting drinks. So when we were salting people's drinks and stuff, but one guy, he salted this guy's drink, and then he put his finger to stir the drink with.
No.
Yes.
His little dirty finger. We don't even know we don't know if he washed his hands or anything before he came in there. That's gross.
Well, everybody was horrified that he did that. And me, being me, I didn't get it. I was like, "What's wrong with that?" He started to drink. So I say, look, you instantly got like doing that. It's like if somebody
Yeah.
not only salted my drink, but then stirred the
Stirred it
drink
with
with their
it was
finger, I
that's
would
like
fight them. I would
yeah,
fight them about that. So
yeah,
that's
like
what
no.
everybody was like. It's like, but when the guy came back to the table, we obviously we
Everybody's like,
didn't
wait,
let him
wait,
drink.
wait.
I not that I remember, but I just remember everybody just being horrified by what this guy
Right.
did, and me just kind of being naive, just being like, I mean,
That's hilarious, man. But
yeah,
you had a lot of good people there, man. That's cool. That a lot of
wild people,
yeah,
wild to good
wild,
people.
caring
Yeah,
people. Man, those are the best. So thing, I guess I've had so probably some of my best experiences were after college, like as far as just with people socially
yeah,
was after college because
right,
when I was in college, of course I was busy with the engineer program, but
yeah,
also I was very active in our campus ministry and I didn't
uh,
do a lot of, partying and things. So I
right,
didn't have a whole lot of the going out and all that kind of stuff experiences while in college. Even though I did, I went on some trips and stuff like that, which were fun. But anyway, after college, and really, when we all lived together,
yeah. Those
those
are
are
some
some
great
fun times. I
times.
love, man, to this day, I loved just going out, and I still love going out, meeting new people, and just being free, being a human being, and
Yeah,
me and you both know being believers, like we know that there's a balance where you can go out, you can have a good time
right,
and still keep it in the road,
yeah.
and man, it was always so you know how much fun we used to have, man. Just
Oh yeah,
oh my gosh.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. That's and that's the thing that, like for me, that's why I had to make a choice. Tomorrow will be 1 month being sober, and I just got to a place where it's I was still my mind was still caught up in being pre pre marriage. My mind
Mm.
was still caught up in that behavior, that type of action,
Mhm.
and I was the one that was creating more than more than enough share of problems for my family, and I'm honestly I'm tired of doing that to myself and my family. So that's why I made the choice of just kind of stepping back and stepping away from it, because I mean it'd be different if I was drinking like from birth, but I went through a phase of my life where I never did that at all,
Mhm.
as a kid. And so it what doing it for 20 years, how hard is it to not do it for 20 years?
Mm.
And so that's how I know I'm truly not a, like what people would call it, like a pure alcoholic, because a pure
Mhm.
alcoholic wouldn't be able to stop. There is
Right.
no control. And
Right.
so I I have to be honest about how I feel about it. Like when I want to drink, I do genuinely want to drink, but here I am at almost at 1 month mark, and it's good. It's good for me. It's good for my
Mhm.
family, because I had a choice of either this or that, and I put my family through too much to put kind of make that a part of my life anymore. I'm not saying that
Mhm.
Jill won't ever at some point say, I'm comfortable with you having a drink. And I'm not saying that I won't have a drink at some point in time, but I'd rather just go ahead and just give it up now and see what
Right.
happens,
Right.
versus ever taking a chance of anything like that happen
Yeah.
that could, I mean, it's you don't realize how much you can lose until you lose it, or
Right.
you have the possibility of losing it, and then it makes you realize how much has actually been built.
Mm.
You don't
Yeah.
people don't realize how much they have until it's
Mm.
taken away.
Bro, bro, you said it all there. And yeah, you didn't share that with me about the drinking thing. Thank you. You didn't share. I didn't know that you were stopping drinking for one.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, that's very cool, man. That's very interesting to hear, and I know that's very weighted. It was a like you said a decision that you made because you realize you're choosing, and I think it took seeing it like that. I mean, because that's huge, man. I mean, it was something you enjoy doing, but you're choosing family. You're choosing not even compromising, no, not even giving it an opportunity for you to compromise family. So,
yeah,
that's awesome to have the capacity. That's that maturity now that we've
yeah.
grown
I
into
definitely
have the
didn't have that
capacity.
then.
You have to do that. So, speaking
Well, here's
of,
the interesting thing
okay.
about that. It's been quote unquote put to the test, but it's not a test. So obviously, being in social environments, you would most people that struggle with that, they would ask, well, how can you, does that mean you can't go out around people that drink, or you can't um go to a bar, or you can't, you know, sit at a restaurant and all, all the things I used to do? It's like I can do or social events, like I do absolutely all of those things. I can do all of those things. And you know,
Because you made the choice. That's the power of the mind, power of will, right?
well, it's that, but it's the knowing that it's not hard to say when I'm sitting down. Let's say you and I were to go to
Mm-hmm.
a restaurant that has a bar. We sit up at a bar, and bartender who has known me for a long time says, "Hey, James, good to see you again. Can I get you a drink?" It's like, no, no, I'm fine, but you can get him a drink, and I'll pay for
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah.
it. It's just that easy. Or I go to a social event. It's like, can I get you anything? Yeah, get me a club soda and tonic water, or a club soda and
Right.
mint. You know,
Right.
let everybody else enjoy and have their fun. I mean, do I want to too? Of course I did. But I used to drink because I could not handle interacting with people. It was a
Mm-hmm.
social anxiety thing. And all the other side of it is I would also drink too because that's how I would handle my stress to numb it down. And
Mm-hmm.
so, those two things are not proper ways of dealing with interacting with people. And in my line of work, I interact with people.
Right. Right.
It's like I got no choice, you know? It's
Right.
like that's why, going back to some themes that we've kind of said quite a few times, the the next generation is going to have to get comfortable with putting down the phones and talking with each other. It's not as hard as you think it is,
Mm-hmm.
but just get used to doing it, because it's not hard to do. It's actually fun to do, and just replace the thing that you would use to kind of help you get through it with something else, something different. you know Keep replace it with a different habit, and it's not
Right.
going to be comfortable at first, but as you get used to it, because I've been doing other things for so long, that's why it's not as hard for me to transition away from it, because I have our conversations together. I
Mm-hmm.
have anime. I have these things that I'm trying to build, or I have my family. I have my faith. I have so many other things.
Right. Right.
And for some people that are caught into addiction and, biological, chemical things, you have to keep in mind those are things. Some people actually do need help. They
Mm-hmm.
do need, medicines to help them. But those types of things, that they need to take it, of course. But you also have to understand that you can replace a bad thing with a good thing. Now, you may need to replace it with 15 good things to replace that one bad thing, but you can. And before you know it, you're doing it, you know? Because I don't,
Right.
you know, I'd rather just sit in a room by myself and watch anime all day.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, here we are, you know, We
Yeah.
we by nature are introverts, but
Right.
we just we can kind of do it, you know.
That's true, man. True. So that's good, man. It's amazing. I mean, God has given us the capacity, um,
Capacity,
to yes, the capacity to make our minds up, to use our will, and really, there's nothing that's impossible
hmm
when we
which is
do
why
that.
I think if you ever wanted to play baseball, you could. That's why I know, you know, if you'd stuck with it, do I think that
Yeah,
you could probably play baseball? You know, back then, yeah, of
20,
course you can.
yeah,
You whooped
yeah,
my ass in basketball. Of course you can do that. I
yeah,
mean, you and
20 years
Bob both
ago.
just took it to me that time we were playing
Man,
21.
Bob was good,
So you
man.
don't, y'all don't understand like how much, because when we played that day or when we played in general, I remember how strong I used to be and how
Hmm.
fast I used to be
Yeah.
and how much I was able to really shoot basketball, bro. So when you're sitting there whooping up on me and he was whooping up on me, I'm like, oh my God, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Like the battle that goes on in your mind. Like you're
You
getting
had
it
really
handed to
fallen
you.
from grace.
Yeah, yeah.
From the basketball graces. You
But
yeah.
isn't it crazy how talented Bob is though?
That's what I'm saying.
He's a
Bob
pure
is
athlete.
athlete because he was like 50 years old out there, 50
Yeah.
something years old, 55 years old
With a
out there,
bad
just
back too.
bad back, just doing it up, man.
Man.
I can imagine he was really good at football too. He's just an
Well,
athlete.
it's funny that you mentioned that because so here's the thing. When he was in high school, his best friend from up in Massachusetts came down recently to see him. Well, came up from Florida, but he used to play strictly on defense.
Mhm.
So I think he was a linebacker. Bob could tell his high school football stories better than I can. So you have to next time you see him, you have to ask him about his football career. But he at some point something wasn't going right with the QB. So I guess Bob took the football and had to throw it somewhere and like one end to the other. And he threw it so good, such a perfect spiral that the coach was like, LePage, we're gonna put you, we're gonna get you start playing quarterback. He played quarterback and I think he played both sides of the ball. I can't remember, but he was so good at football that he had stuck with it. He probably would have played Division I college football.
Yeah,
He
I
was
can see
good. I
that.
think he took his team to state. I can't remember either one state or he took them to state within the year that he started
Yeah,
playing football. And he
I
like he was like a sophomore or junior year of football.
I
I
can
mean,
see
he
that, man. I
naturally
can really see
talented.
that. Yeah.
And there was a
Um.
time where there was this cat. You know, you remember their old house where this cat was hanging around, and they tried to get the cat away from the house, and it was like from the front of their house, their front door, all the way to the end of the driveway, which is probably a good 50, 60 yards.
Mhm.
Bob picked up a potato, threw the potato, and tagged the cat right on the ass.
Man,
He's
that
he's a
dude,
he's an ath
he is, man. It's amazing.
genuinely
Yeah.
pure athlete.
Hmm.
It's
And
like
it's
Bo Jackson, man.
right, right. And I just love to see the purity of just someone being just touched by God in that area, like just
Yeah,
gifted like that. It's a
gifted.
for me, it's just beautiful to see because it's like, wow, God did it. God gave
Yeah,
this person this and God does it for these reasons. But it's
right.
I mean, just like musicians, you got some folks that I mean they can literally pick up a new instrument just about that day and just start
Get
playing it.
it.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And
that's a big
and it's amazing to see how some of these gifts that God has given us, He gives them inherently at birth. That
hmm
creativity,
you know.
that desire to learn, or the curiosity. You know, we look at our kids and we just kind of marvel like what are they gonna what are they capable of
Right.
when they can learn so fast and do so much so fast. And it's a tragedy when lives are taken too early. That's the tragedy part, because there
Mhm.
was a plan and a purpose, and then that plan and purpose is taken away. And we're on the other side of it too, where and I never really looked at it this way until kind of recently. But think about it this way. It's very hard to see it this way, okay? But when I'm a grandfather, Lord willing, one day, I am going to have really instill into my grandchildren that I want you to take care of your mother, my daughter, or my son, your father. And here's why. Because I have spent my whole life watching this person grow up to become your mother or your father. And so I don't want my mother or my father, I don't want my child to feel abandoned, alone, or left behind. Because that's my child. So don't let that happen. Take care of them. I know it's going to be hard because they're a parent and they're hard to deal with. But at some point in time, I'm not going to be here anymore. I know that. So I can't take care of them. So I want you to be taken care of when they get older. And I want you to take that point of view and you teach that to your grandkids. Just skip it. Skip it the generation.
I love that, man.
It's a really profound thought, because
It's
when I
profound.
look at Evie, I look at her as she is now as a child. One day she's not going to be a child anymore. She's going to be an adult just like you and me. One day she's going to be a parent just like you and me. And then years from now, she's going to be like my mom. And I'm not going to be here anymore. And I can't do anything about it. I can have faith that somebody's going to come along and take care of her. But if I have any influence, any say so on the ones that that are close to her, I'm going to want them to make sure she's taken care of when she gets older. Because again, once I'm gone, I'm gone.
See, bro, that resonates with me so much because as you were talking, it really reminded me of my grandfather and his whole like his mindset, who he was, and I could see him saying that to me about his daughter, my mom, and it's like so powerful for me because like I wanted to spend more time with my mom, and I've made a conscious effort over the years, but there's still so much more time I want to spend. I can just because my mom, like she's expressed at times, a feeling of, loneliness, like her dad's gone, her closest brother is
Yep.
gone,
Yep.
and her and my dad are still together, but again, those men in her life are gone, and she she feels, lonely at times. And I was
Yeah.
just like hearing my grandfather. I'm just like, wow, yeah, I do have to keep taking care of my mom, make
You do.
sure that I'm giving her, what she needs. I'm
Right.
supplementing that emotional need and
Yeah.
whatever that is she needs
Yeah.
for
We
companionship.
take it
So,
for granted
yeah,
because life moves so fast,
right.
you know? And, here Evie is, she's going to be 3 next month. Jill's going to, we're going to have our first son next month. You
Oh,
know,
wow.
it's, it's moving so fast, and
Yeah.
it will. And so I look at my mom and I see her mental decline over the years. And, you know, I, she's going to be 81 this year.
Wow.
So she has some
Wow.
friends, but you think about it, your friends are always going to kind of at some point, unless we all live in the same town. Like I bought up a whole subdivision and had everybody that I love and care about move into the town. Most of your friends aren't going to be close to you physically anymore,
Right.
even your
Right.
closest friends. And so their kids are going to be moving away. So, like I've watched over the years like families, Thai families that I was close with. Thank God for the internet, Facebook, and cell phones, because we can still keep in touch with each other. But your lives don't stay where you leave them; they keep moving forward in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
On the path of greater destruction or a path of greater growth, but it keeps moving forward. So that's why it is important to kind of remind yourself when you look at your child, you got to remember your child one day is going to be a grandparent too. So if you have that proximity of instilling in your grandchildren, you know, care for your mom. I know your mom is can be hard at you at times, but care for your mom because I love that. I love that child so much growing up, watching her grow up, growing up with her growing up. So I love that child. So please, you know, love her too, you know.
Right.
And again, there's always the outliers of bad parents, abusiveness, but what I'm talking about is a scenario of a good, healthy family.
Right.
A good, healthy family. Assuming a good, healthy family with the normal ups and downs of life, then yeah, because you just don't want people. We look at when we look at older people, we look at them as older people.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see them the way we don't see their lives. We can't look at every single person and see and comprehend their lives.
Right.
And even then we're comprehending from our point of view. So but that's the thing that I would teach to my grandkids to really understand. I love the fact that you love me. I love it because it was hard work raising my kids, your parents.
Right.
But also please love them because they will one day be old people too. Yeah, it's profound. I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about that before.
No, not like that. I haven't. But on that note, man, I think that's a great note to end the show on, bro. That's a pound. It's a pound, man. Yeah, real tough. So well, I got an interesting Saturday ahead. We're gonna do our Mother's Day celebration today with Ashley's parents. So we're gonna cook out over their house, and
Nice.
then later on today, 7 o'clock, my school has their prom tonight. So
Oh geez.
Ashley and I are gonna go. What do you call it? What do you call it when you
Chaperone.
go? No, no, not at all. We're not doing
Uh
that. But what do you call it when you go and you're peeking in on folks and they don't know you're looking at them? It's a word
Spying.
for it. No, I almost had it. I almost had the word.
Peeking in. They don't know you. Peeping
Yeah,
Tom.
no, 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 no.
Voyeur.
It's I almost got it. But anyway, that's what we're gonna do, just kind of for
That's
fun,
what
like
we're gonna do. We're gonna
look and see, what they're
it
dressed
doesn't
in, that
sound
kind of
good.
thing. Yeah.
Let's
So
frame it properly. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be monitoring them, probably. Monitoring
no,
them?
no,
No.
bro, they don't know we're coming. We're not assigned as chaperones. We're literally gonna go park in our minds, and let me say, in my mind. So let me protect. This is my idea. We're gonna go park, and we're just gonna watch. We're gonna people watch, and we're gonna laugh and say, "Oh, they look nice," and "Oh, what were they
Well,
wearing?"
people
That
watch.
kind
How
of thing.
about we
The
just say
people watch.
people watch?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
No,
All
but
right.
I really do love and care for our students. I just think it would be fun. I honestly, I'm happy for our seniors, and I just this year I really just enjoyed teaching seniors and being around them.
Good.
So this is just
Good.
kind of another show of that not admiration. I guess you say admiration, just people. We talk about loving people and everything, and I really do love my students. So I just want
Well,
to
that's
kind of be
good.
around them and see them
That's
tonight.
good.
So
Well,
yeah,
then that's and talking about time and how fast it passed. You know, uh, one of my coworkers, Delbert, his dad, Dwight, was a principal for Carver for many years. And so when he passed, you don't realize the amount of lives you touch and reach. But Jill actually remembers when he was a principal, when she graduated high school. Say,
Oh,
Dwight Madison.
right. Did she go to? She didn't go to Carver though, did she?
She did.
What?
Yeah. She graduated from there.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Jill grew up in Montgomery.
Yeah.
What? Didn't realize that. I thought for some reason
Yeah.
she grew up somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. But her dad's from Massachusetts, right? Or
Yes.
somewhere.
He was in the
Okay.
Air Force. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Interesting. Interesting.
see, see, all this time, man, you didn't know that. Oh, there's a great background story.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have to talk to you about something off record. That's interesting. Yeah, yeah. All right, bro, man. Well, it's been good as
Yeah,
always.
I'm gonna enjoy the dinosaurs, and you're gonna enjoy people watching.
People watching. Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, tell the family I said hello. Love
All right,
y'all. All right, bro.
love you.
Great. See you. Peace.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. All right. See you.
Bye.